Some dorms are nicer than others. It's just the way it is.
That's just how it goes.
Hey guys, what is up? My name is Lizzy. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification so you're notified every time I upload a video. Now, I don't normally make review videos of universities because I've only attended actually 3. That's kind of a lot. Today I am going to be doing a full review of the University of Wyoming. It's the school that I currently attend. Overall, I'll just say it now, had a great experience here. I am graduating in December, but I have gone to a few different schools. One of them being in California, one of them being in Alaska, and honestly, my experience at Wyoming has been very different but very good compared to those schools, and I'm from Alaska and I really enjoy the school here much more. But I wanted to just do this really in-depth review of University of Wyoming just because I don't think anyone's ever really done it before. So I'm also going to go kind of in detail about Laramie and what it's like living, housing situations, that kind of thing. So make sure to watch the whole video for all the information. We've got a very information-packed video here today. All right, so let's start off with the location. So as you probably know, University of Wyoming is located in Laramie, Wyoming. I am used to larger cities, but I do actually really enjoy the small town feel. Here in Laramie, I've honestly done better than I've ever done in school before. Like I said, I have gone to a couple other colleges, so I kind of have like a little bit more knowledge about different schools and what they expect and stuff. But I will pop the population of Laramie and the population of University of Wyoming on the screen there so you guys can see it. Not big numbers there, and a lot of people that live in Laramie are students or like the elderly. I'm just gonna say it, like there's a lot of old people that live here. You are pretty close to Fort Collins and Cheyenne. If you want to go like shopping or anything, those are the places you do it, but I'll go over that in another section. Laramie is really close to hiking and outdoors activities, but getting into the town itself, I am gonna cover restaurants and bars in another section as well, so stay tuned for that. All right, let's talk about housing. Now, I'm guessing a lot of people watching this video are freshmen deciding if they want to go to University of Wyoming or not. Also, self-plug, if you are a freshman, I do make a lot of college themed videos, so make sure to subscribe to my channel. Let's talk about the dorms. Now I'm gonna be real with you. Some dorms are nicer than others. It's just the way it is. I lived in Whitehall, which is the nicest, and I lived in Downey, which is kind of the crappiest. So I got a nice little view of both. They all look really similar. They're just a little older, opposed to Whitehall, which is the newest one. But I was in Whitehall and it was okay. The dorms are actually a really good size compared to other dorms that I've seen. You can bunk your beds so you can make a lot more space for yourself. It does come with a desk area and you get your own window, so like your desk kind of faces a window, which is really nice. If I can find a picture, I'll insert it here of my dorm. I think I do have a picture of it. And I got just really lucky with my roommate. We're best friends now, so shout out to Emma if you're watching this. I would suggest if you can request Whitehall to go ahead and do that. And I would honestly avoid Downey. It's pretty outdated compared. The showers are outdated, that kind of thing. It's definitely livable. It's same size rooms, things like fancy in a dorm room, obviously. Going along with dorm stuff, I want to talk about the RAs that I've had and the experience I had being an RA, because I actually was an RA my second semester. So my RA, my first semester when I was living in Whitehall, she was super nice and actually really didn't get into my business a lot. I don't know, you probably just are gonna either get lucky with an RA or not. Some of them are going to be more strict than others, is what I'm saying. Talk to them, you know, be their friends. They're just there to help you out. When I was in Downey, I actually was an RA. Overall, it was honestly a pretty good experience. I got free housing, I got free meals. It really wasn't a lot of work. So definitely something to consider. I didn't hate it or anything. It wasn't awful, but I did only do it for a semester. I was not planning on doing it like throughout my years here, just because I didn't want to live in the dorms that long. Once you're in the dorms for a year, you kind of want to get the fuck out, if you know what I mean. And also, like a little disclaimer, everything I'm saying is just my experience. You might experience Wyoming totally different than me. Oh, another thing about the dorms is if you have less than 30 credits, they do make you live in the dorms. Because when I transferred into Wyoming, I had like 20 something credits, but they were very strict in making me live in the dorms. So you do have to buy a meal plan if you are living in the dorms, which kind of makes sense. They want you to eat and be alive and stuff. Now, I was actually a vegetarian when I was a freshman. I no longer am, so don't worry, you can still trust my like restaurant recommendations. I ate a lot of grilled cheese and bagels. a lot of carbs. They did have a salad bar, which was really nice, and they switch it up. Burgers, fries, they have like pizza sometimes. I'm trying to think what else they have. Oh, build your own sandwiches. You know, they do switch it up. So it's a little bit of everything. Oh, one thing that they do have is like this Asian, they have one of those like round skillets, and they can do veggies and noodles and different meats on there, and that was actually my favorite. So they do have a lot of good options. All right, I feel like I've been rambling about the dorms for a little while. Let me get on to other housings, apartments, private renters, etc. I have dealt with both. There are 3 main apartment complexes in Laramie. There are a few more, but these are kind of the main, more popular ones, so I'm just gonna focus on these ones. I'm gonna talk about ALIGHT Laramie first. I do have a lot of information about them just because I actually am currently employed with them. They're the best. They offer 2 bedrooms and 3 bedroom options. Each bedroom has its own walk-in closet behind me and its own bathroom. And if you want to, I'll link my bedroom tour down below so you guys can kind of look at it in a little more detail if you want to like see what they look like. And they do vary in prices. They run like different concessions throughout the year. For a 3 bedroom, it's around $550 or so, just depending, and it does change, so like don't quote me. And then for a 2 bedroom, it's a little bit more expensive. And I know I'm talking a lot about Laramie and apartments and such. That is important to know about if you're gonna live here too. I will go into more like school things later in this video. But next on the list is The Point. The Point only offers 1 floor plan, so they're 4 bedrooms, and I believe they have pretty decent sized closets, and they each have their own bathroom too. Their prices do change, so I'm not gonna like tell you the price. You can just call them and like find out. And then the last one is The Quarters. This one is kind of the cheapest. Their bedrooms are fairly small. I have toured at all of these places, so I know what they look like, and I've had friends that live there and such, but they are really inexpensive, so that's like a plus for some people. But yeah, so those are kind of the main ones, I'd say. But ALIGHT does have a outdoor pool, which is really nice in the summertime. It's actually about to open, and I'm very excited to not be so pale anymore. So a lot of people want to move into houses, and there are housing options, not like hating on them or anything. You do usually have to wait later in the year. So with places like ALIGHT, The Point, and The Quarters, you can sign up to live there way ahead of time, and we'll have a space for you. With houses, it's a lot different. You usually have to wait till summertime, or kind of like around right now, so like around May, June, right before the school year is about to start, to really start looking officially. You're just kind of rolling the dice, you know, and hoping that something works out. It's not a bad option, but it's just like a little bit riskier. So I moved out of this apartment complex for about, I want to say like 4 or 5 months, not for very long. I rented from a private renter who just like owned a home, and it had different apartments inside of it, and I hated it. I had a bad experience personally with my like landlord and such. He wasn't a bad landlord. He was just really, really, really weird. Just so strange to deal with. I can only speak from my experience with this one, but I don't think I will rent for privately like owned places in Laramie. The houses here are pretty old, so that's a thing. Here's the thing with old houses. It gets freaking cold here. That's one of the reasons I moved out, is because I had no control over the AC or the temperature or anything in my own apartment, and my house was freezing in the winter. Like, that's why I moved out. I'm like, I physically can't live here. I will freeze. It was just kind of a yikes situation. So I would just say beware. Definitely ask a lot of questions when you're renting, you know, ask about things like heating and air. So fun fact about me, I'm a marketing major and I have a concentration in professional sales, but I just wanted to kind of say, I go to the College of Business. That is pretty much all I know about. I really can only talk about the College of Business when it comes to my actual classes because I know how that works. If you're going into the College of Business, comment down below what your major is, or if you're undecided like I was for the first 2 years, then that's okay too. You'll figure it out. Maybe. Or maybe you'll just get your degree and you'll regret it and never actually use it. But you know, whatever. And just another disclaimer, every college is going to be unique and different. So, you know, take what I say with a grain of salt. The College of Business is pretty nice. I think that it's one of the nicer buildings on campus, and they are doing a lot of construction for like engineers right now. So if you're an incoming engineer, that's like lucky for you, because they just built a whole new building for you guys and it actually looks awesome in there. They put an They put in Einstein's bagels in there, so we've got some like sort of updated things. This video is getting long. Wow. Yeah, so College of Business, very updated building. All the furniture is very nice. All the classrooms are very nice. When it comes to class size, I would definitely say when you're a freshman and sophomore, you may not have all of your classes inside that building. A lot of your classes are probably going to be in the classroom building, or depending on, you know, it really just depends on what your major is too. They might kind of throw you around. End of sophomore, junior, and like full on senior year, you're mostly going to just be in that building. So what I've kind of found with it, and this probably goes the same for a lot of colleges, is your main classes like economics, accounting, you know, all those classes that no one likes are going to be larger class sizes. Then when you get a little more defined in what you're actually doing, those classes get a lot smaller. And I came to the school knowing like one person, but I feel like now I go into class and I know at least a couple faces and at least a couple names because I've had classes with them before. Also, just a tip, if you're a freshman, talk to people. Don't be afraid. People are nice, especially here. Like, people are very, very kind. It's really nice to have someone to bounce ideas off of and like get their Snapchat. So if you're having like an issue with an assignment, you actually have someone to talk to about it and you're not just like, what do I do? And I'm gonna be very real here. I have not had a teacher that I really, really disliked. This is very situational for what you like in a teacher, but I've found that the College of Business teachers have been very professional, very kind. They're understanding. If you have like a problem or something, I feel like I could go to them and they would listen to me. I've had a lot of teachers say they'll help you out with internships. They're kind of more associated, more in the industry, which is nice because they have like a more upfront knowledge about what they're actually teaching you. Especially the sales department, if you're going into that at all, there's a lot of connections there. If you have to take business calc, just make sure you're on top of it because that teacher can get a little strict if it's gonna be the same guy. I don't really want to name drop anyone just in case. I just don't want to offend anyone. But if you're taking business calc, just be careful. That's all I have to say. Okay, let's talk about some notable campus buildings. The first thing on my list is not actually a building. I just wanted to talk about it first because I think it's the prettiest. Prexy's Pasture, it's like the hub, the middle part. Basically, if you're watching a movie and someone's playing Frisbee in a college campus, this is where they play Frisbee. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. The grassy area, the outdoor hub, it's really nice in the summertime when people, you know, start like emerging from the dorms after a long winter and they, you know, go lay out there and do homework. I've seen like classes out there before, and it's just like a nice area to kind of just hang out with your friends in the summertime. Like, no one really hangs out outside in the winter here just because it's windy and cold, and like who would do that? Alrighty. So let's talk about Half Acre. So that is going to be the gym. It's located kind of across kitty corner from the library and the Union. So it goes like library, Union, Half Acre, and honestly, Half Acre is so awesome. Like, it is a great gym. It's 3 stories. It's absolutely huge. A lot of people utilize. It is full a lot of the time. Like, not completely full, but there's usually like someone on every floor. Depending on time of day that you go, you can find some empty spaces if you are a nervous person or you don't like to work out around a lot of people. But yeah, they have an indoor track, they have basketball court, you know, you name it, they have it. I feel like it's common knowledge when you start going to the school, the first floor of the gym is kind of like the bro, like lifting, like kind of corner of the whole gym, but you can find peace on those 2nd and 3rd levels. I know some people get gym anxiety, and I used to be that way for a while, so I think that's important to note. They have a rock climbing wall too, which is really, really cool. I've done that a couple times, and you can rent out equipment. You don't have to have the shoes or the chalk or anything. They will actually rent it out to you for free if you just have your student ID. And you do need your student ID to get in the gym, but admission is free if you're a student. All right, next on the list is the library. I don't spend a ton of time studying at the library, but some people, that's like their preferred study area. If I really need to get some stuff done, or if it's finals week, that's kind of when I go. But they have a ton of computers there. You can print. That's where like tutoring is. So if you're having issues with any of your classes, you can go get tutored at STEP. They'll work with you one-on-one, which is really, really helpful. I've used that a couple of times. And they also have a ton of books. So if you like reading like me, then you can check out books there for free. You don't have to buy the books. But I feel like a lot of people nowadays just use libraries to study, or you know, to get homework done. And it's a great place for that too, because of course it's like quiet. You can also rent out rooms there. So if you want to like meet with a group and you kind of want your own area, you can rent out a room. A lot of the rooms have either, not projectors, like whiteboards so that you can write stuff out so everyone can see. There's a coffee shop in there. Important knowledge to have. Next, I want to talk about the Union, which is kind of, I'd say the Union is like the main hub of just the school itself. It's where you're gonna find all of the food that is offered, like most of the restaurants. Panda Express, there's a salad place, there's a pita pit. I think I'm forgetting something. There's coffee in there too. They have a little general store. That's where the university store is located. There's a ton of seating. And then downstairs of the Union, they have different clubs. They also have like a little game room downstairs too, which I feel like no one really uses. It's like a dark corner too, so if you ever need a place to nap, I've definitely napped down there before, and it's a good place to nap. Okay, napping spots aside, one last building on the list is the classroom building, and it is on the other side of campus. So I was talking about like the Union, the library, the gym. Well, if you want to go whoo and like go past Prexy's pasture straight on back, you'll get to the classroom building. It's really close to Turtle Rock Cafe, which is a bomb place to eat. They have awesome coffee there, really good salads if you're a salad person. They also have great sandwiches and yummy stuff. Okay, I'll stop plugging them for a second and talk about what I'm actually talking about. So the classroom building, it's like this round, kind of dated building. A lot of my classes freshman year were in there, so I thought it would be like notable to talk about. It is a confusing building at first, or at least for me it was. I'm not very good at navigating new places, so I definitely would suggest if you have classes there and like you have a little bit of time before to go to that building and find your class, because I've definitely been late to class because I couldn't find my actual class. So don't be me. All right, let's get into my favorite subject, the bars of Laramie, like, or the nightlife, let's say, nightlife of Laramie. The nightlife here is, it's okay. I don't know, like I give it like a 6 out of 10. It's all right. You know, you're with your friends, you're drunk, you don't really notice how quality it is, I guess, when you're really out there. There are other bars too that I don't mention. I'm just gonna kind of mention the ones that I normally go to, the ones that I kind of think are the most popular, or like semi-popular at least. When it comes to me and nightlife, I do it like maybe a couple times a month and then I call it good, like two or one time, sometimes none times. But I think I've had a pretty good like experience overall. Nothing like whack has happened to me, like luckily. So I'm gonna start with the trashiest bar at the Buck. This is kind of an older style, like sort of country-ish bar. I went there at 6 o'clock one time and it was a mistake. Like the Buck is for, it's like the end of the road. You know, when you've already had a couple drinks and you're already kind of like feeling yourself, you're ready to like kind of dance it out. That's what I use it for, at least. Then I would suggest going to the Buck. I wouldn't go there first though. Not a good first option, because when you're not drunk, you really start looking around at things and you're like, this is kind of a weird place. But it's fun at 12:30. That's like when everyone shows up. Everyone's there like very late at night. So just a heads up if you're going there, don't make that the first bar that you go to. Let's talk about Roxy's. That one's downtown and the Buck is downtown. So obviously like the bars downtown are in walking distance. So it's really not difficult to go from bar to bar if you want to just go bar hopping. Which is like normally what me and my friends like to do. We like to go to a couple different places. Roxy's is next on the list. It's like kind of bougier. It's nicer. I think it's more well done and modern than the Buck. So the Buck and Roxy's are gonna be your best dancing bars if you're into that. But yeah, overall Roxy's is really nice. The drinks are expensive. They're really expensive and they give you like those tiny, very sad little plastic shot glasses. So just expect that, maybe pregame a little bit. Oh, on that note, this is something I totally forgot. So there's something here called Safe Ride, and you can actually ride for free. It's basically a free taxi service that runs, I think, Thursday night to Sunday. So even if you're doing like Thirsty Thursday or something, you can still have a free, completely free ride home. You do have to call them in advance. It can take a little while. It can take like 30 minutes, sometimes even a little bit longer, but it's completely free. I've never had a problem with it. They always take you exactly where you're going. It's driven mostly by students, so it's not creepy or anything. Most of the people are your age that are driving. I've known a couple people that have worked for it. Also, you can work there too if you want to drive drunk kids around. I don't see why you would want to. But yeah, that's just a little side note because that's a great service to have. You don't have to Uber. There is Uber here, but it's kind of unreliable, but Safe Ride is really good if you're trying to get around at nighttime. All right, so I'll talk about Front Street Bar next. I like this one as kind of like a little, if you just want to go have a couple drinks, talk to friends kind of thing. It's really, really cute. It's next to Sweet Melissa's, which is a vegetarian restaurant. Hey, freshman me would be stoked. But they have a shot ski there, so you can like get it with 2 of your other friends, or 3. Oh, I can't remember, it's been a while. I think you can do it with 4 people. It's not important. The whole bar, y'all, shot ski, it's fun. Mingles is the last one on my list. I like Mingles a lot too. Really good if you do want to like hang out with friends and talk to people. And Mingles is really close to ALIGHT and The Point. So you can actually walk there from both apartment complexes. This one isn't downtown. They have pool tables, games. It's more open. It's a lot bigger of a bar, floor space wise. But I really do enjoy that one. And they have really good fish bowls too. So check those out if you're 21 and over. Let's talk about restaurants. I love food. Maybe I'm being picky. Maybe I have too like, this sounds so pretentious. Like maybe I have too high quality of a taste. Like that sounds so pretentious. But I grew up with really, really good restaurants around. And I really don't want to hate on these restaurants that much because I know a lot of people that like them. And I have a completely different taste palette. But there's just not a lot of really great restaurants in Laramie. That's kind of something that you're giving up if you are going to go to college here. If you like food and like really awesome like obscure food, you're really not going to find that here. The restaurants are like a 2 out of 10. There's a couple that are good. I'll mention them. Most of them are just not. I'm being so picky. I know a lot of my friends would be like, Lizzy, like, what do you mean there aren't good restaurants? Like there's so many good ones, and I don't agree. I have experienced these restaurants as a vegetarian and as a meat eater like I am now. Wyoming really changes you, you know. But there are a few that I wanted to mention that don't like totally suck in my opinion. Take that with a grain of salt. Don't hate me, don't come for me. Once again, like I'm just sharing my opinion. My favorite restaurant here is Crowbar, which is kind of like a restaurant bar kind of thing, but they serve pizza and burgers. Very Wyoming of them. But their pizza freaking slaps. Like it is so, so good. I love their pizza. It's never bad. And their pad thai fries, yo, like it sounds so weird. It sounds really weird. Try it, just try it. Leave a comment down below if you have tried it and you loved it. That is just a really good place if you want like pizza and a beer. Like all the dining here is fairly casual too. There's not really fancy dining. You'd probably have to go to like Fort Collins or Cheyenne for that if you want to have like a very fancy night. I like Anong's. It's pretty good. It has like Thai food options. I do enjoy like most of the stuff that I've gotten there. And I know there is one in Cheyenne too, and a lot of people that go to Laramie are from Cheyenne, so they've probably had it or heard of it before, but I think it's like pretty decent. I like Thai food. I love pad thai, so I mean, I had to find some good pad thai here, or at least like decent pad thai. That's really all I have for restaurants that I really like. Rib and Chop is pretty good. It's just a steakhouse. It's not a local place at all, so I'm sure you guys have probably heard of it already. It's pretty good. Like I've had good meals there and I enjoy it, but I'm not gonna lie, I've had a lot of disappointments in food here and it just hurts a little bit. I've become a lot better cook though, so that's good. All right, last thing on my list is shopping or lack of. You don't come to Laramie to shop. There's not a mall here. There's really not a whole lot. You can get your basic items that you need, you know. You're pretty much gonna be online shopping here. So I'm gonna lay it out with shopping. Pretty much you are gonna be shopping online if you want, like, I'm saying this very generally, but if you want stylish items, like if you want trendy things, they do have clothing stores here. They're just not really nicer clothes, I guess. There's like a Maurice's here. I've never really stepped foot in there. It's just not my kind of store. But you can get basics here. You can also get camping gear here, you know, all that stuff. Ranching gear, all that is here too. So if that's your style, like go for it. But if you're like me and I'm not a rancher, I do camp sometimes, but I kind of like owned a lot of camping gear already. So I pretty much like buy online, or I go to Fort Collins if I do actually want to like shop for clothing, just because that they just have more of my style there. We do have a Bath and Body Works too, so you can stock up on candles, on lotions. That's actually kind of nice to have. But yeah, like I said in the beginning, there are no malls here, so you're not gonna get like, there's no like American Eagle, Victoria's Secret, you know, like those kinds of H&M, like none of those. So you are gonna have to go to Cheyenne or Fort Collins if you want that kind of shopping. But on the bright side, you save a lot of money here, because if you're not buying food or shopping that much like me, then you're saving a lot of money. Concluding thoughts, overall, you really have to realize that Laramie is a small town. You are gonna have a hard time finding certain things here, good food and good shopping, for example. But my university experience here has been really, really, really superb, like really awesome, and I wouldn't change it. I'm so excited to graduate and move out of Laramie, but I think that's just because I've been here for a while and I've kind of experienced it. It is a small town, so personally, like I just want to go a little more to something a little more populated. Overall, I've had a really great experience with the people, my teachers, all of the university staff here, and I would highly suggest it for the price. The ideal person to come here, I think, would be really into outdoors, not care so much about like material items. If you want to save some money, which is like number one reason I came here, you definitely will save money here. Rent is very inexpensive compared to other larger cities or even smaller cities. It's just very inexpensive in Wyoming in general. But yeah, well, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell notification so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. I'm gonna have some college videos coming out. I do have some on my channel already, but I'm gonna have more coming out soon. So make sure to stay tuned for that. I hope that you guys enjoyed this very thorough review, and it gave you maybe some more insight and information from like a student's perspective of what Laramie and the school is really like. Thanks, guys.